Welcome. My name is William Hild. I'm the Executive Director of Consumers Research, the nation's oldest consumer protection organization. And we wanted to do a series of videos to help people understand the effects that ESG is having on different industries within the United States. Today, I'm happy to be joined by Charlie Masters, who is a beef and general farmer in the state of Kentucky. I'm going to have him tell you a little bit more about his operations. But before I do that, the reason we are doing these is because we want to help consumers understand the myriad ways that ESG affects their lives. It's not just the oil and gas industry, although that is one of the main industries this affects, but we see it in mining, we see it in manufacturing, and we see it significantly in agriculture as well, and the effects of the on prices in the grocery store and shortages of different goods. So, uh, welcome, Charlie. First off, could you tell us tell the folks a little bit about your farm and what you do and how long you've been operating it?
Okay, sure. Uh, my wife and I, it's a family farm operation. My wife and I together, we have a farm in northeastern Kentucky, in Fleming County, Kentucky, and we raise vegetables and fruits that we sell at the local farmers market. We have a few bees to sell honey at the farmers market, but our signature product is our local grass-fed, homegrown, Kentucky proud craft beef. We call it. We call it craft beef because when you um, uh, raise grass-fed beef, it takes longer than grain-fed, and so we think we have influence over that beef for a longer period of time.
Could you tell us a little bit? When did you first run into it? When did you first hear about this bizarre term?
I was thinking about that, and I think it was around the year 2020. And what happened was there was a few different outfits, most of them from overseas, that had came to our county to lease land for the purposes of installing solar panels. And I thought that was a little weird because here in Fleming County, Kentucky, we have about 176 days a year of sunny weather. And so that leaves a lot of days when it's not sunny. And the average for the United States is 205 days of sunshine. So why are they coming here to establish solar panels? And so, this doesn't seem like the place. So why are they doing it? And a couple of reasons kind of have raised their head. One is we have the infrastructure, the electrical infrastructure, because we used to be a great source of coal-fired electrical power around here. And the reason why we have those available within sight of my house, in the past year, there's been two coal-fired power plants that have been destroyed. The J.M. Stewart plant and the Killen plant, and together they produced about 3 gigawatts of electricity, which is we don't have anymore. Um, and so you do research, and so why were these power plants destroyed, and it turns out that the company that owned them, uh, probably because of ESG pressures, wanted to turn from a power generating company just to a power distribution company. They'll get their power from somewhere else.
Moving into the ag space, I'm sure part of the reason we're talking, Charlie, is I know that your farm has been directly affected not just by the changes made in the energy sector, but also in the ag sector. Could you speak a little bit about the ways in which you've seen the effects of ESG on the operations of your farm?
Sure can. It's two of our biggest inputs, and we kind of touched on one of them, is fuel to power the farm, either diesel fuel primarily for the tractors and whatnot, um, and fertilizer to get production out of the soil. Um, and ESG has impacted both those things to a large extent. Um, Last year was especially hard hit for us because we saw our fuel prices, triple, uh, at least double, and in some narrow instances they went up as much as 3 times. Uh, and we saw our fertilizer inputs triple as well. And part of that was, and you touched on this as well, um, when when you don't use coal to produce electricity, and the wind and solar just aren't there yet, and a company needs electricity, one of the things that they can move into fairly quickly is using natural gas. That increased the demand for natural gas, which, but at the same time, we're not exploring for natural gas as much as we used to. So you got to, let's just call it a constant supply, but increased demand. And that caused the price of natural gas to go up. Well, most people wouldn't relate this, but natural gas is necessary for the production of nitrogen fertilizers. So the cost of nitrogen fertilizer tripled. It went from about $300 a ton, which I'm talking about urea, which is a pretty common source of nitrogen fertilizer. Went from about $300 a ton to over $1,000 a ton. And that just made it impossible for us to adequately fertilize our crops, and that reduced yield, and to the point of where basically we didn't make any money.
What would you like to see our national leaders or even our state leaders do in reaction to this ESG?
Well, you pointed out, and I want to give a big shout out to my congressman. He's 6th District Congressman Andy Barr, who led that anti-ESG legislation through the House last winter. That passed the House and the Senate. I think most people are familiar with a company called BlackRock. They're advertising on television now about what a great company they are, and I'm going to assume that Mr. Fink, Larry Fink, that heads BlackRock, really believes that the world is burning up, and the things he is doing is going to make the world better. I'm not going to believe right now that he's working against our best interests in his mind, but I think he needs to come down, get out of Wall Street, and come to. I'd invite him to come to Fleming County, Kentucky, and walk around my farm, walk around my neighbors' farms, and see what his investments are doing.
Thank you so much again, Charlie. And real quick before we go, for people in the Kentucky area who would like to get a hold of your merchandise, tell them where they can visit you.
So we're at the Fleming County and the Mason County farmers markets. They're open on Saturday mornings from 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning till sell out till noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Also in Fleming County on Tuesday afternoons from 4 to 7. We're there as well. So and then we of course we're on Facebook. You can look us up that way, and have a website, mastersacres.com.